Welcome to a brand new episode of the Real Life Podcast, a member of the Nation Network of Podcasts and delivered by DoorDash.
Welcome to Real Life, everyone. What is going on right now?
I think that I'm in love with Matthew Kachuk.
Are you guys all drunk?
Episode 308 of the Real Life Podcast. Hello, I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, joined by Chalmers and Bag Milk, and that's it. Wanye and Jay failed. I can't believe it. Regardless of who is on the podcast, it's always brought to you by the HGA Group. Find them on Twitter, Instagram at the HGA Group, and take your business to the next level with all of their great services. There's like 12 of them. They've helped us here at Oilers Nation, and they can help you. Just the three of us, and you two were talking about the fact that there's like a fighter jet flying right over you guys right now.
Yeah, we're out in the West End here, and apparently there's some kind of maneuvers going on. I didn't see it, but I could definitely hear it.
So I'm over in like the Rio Terrace area. One of my jobs, I'm sitting in my truck, and I hear that what I thought was something happening on like the white mud, like a crash or something. And I look up, and there is a fighter jet, legit, super low, and like not just flying straight, but it's like flying sideways, and it's going so fast and it's so loud. So it was cool. A bunch of people were like, come outside and look, and then all of a sudden it disappears, but you can still hear it, and then it comes back for a second one. It was awesome. I love seeing that stuff. I don't know, like maybe like a test flight. Then I saw a little Cessna fly by, and I was like, dude, I hope you know. I hope you're looking around. I hope you got your head on a swivel up there.
Yeah.
But it was fucking awesome. Imagine being a fighter jet pilot, just being able to like just tool around Edmonton. Like, where do they land? Where do they go out of? Is it still like Cold Lake or Cold like?
Yeah, I would think so.
Where there's yeah,
I would think so.
Maybe they're out.
What would be like?
Learning.
Chalmers, this is a good question then. What would be like, I think there's not very many jobs more badass than a fighter pilot. What would be like on your top list of just a badass job if you could do absolutely anything?
A badass job where you could do absolutely anything. Holy, that's putting on the spot. Let's see. I go on Instagram all the time, and I see jobs of people that are really, really, really high up in the air, and they're doing like work on like windmills and shit. And that stuff does not interest me. Like, I don't really like heights and stuff. Mm-hmm. A badass job you could do, I don't know, like a cop. I don't know. You can do pretty much whatever you want. I don't know. What would you do? Spark my creative side here.
Man, I think a fighter pilot's got to be up there, or like a sniper or something in the military. That's fucking badass.
It's badass, but also very dangerous.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's badass, but it could be dangerous. Tyler, what do you got?
That just scares me. I'd like to be a podcast host. No, I don't know. Like, I don't like danger. Have you ever been skydiving, Bag Milk?
I've not. Yes, I have. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have.
Was it like a tandem jump where you were tied to somebody else?
Yeah.
You have to be the first time, don't you?
I believe so. I was in Byron Bay in Australia, and I went and I was strapped to this like Austrian dude, and he was like flipping out of the plane, and it was wild. It was bananas. It was a really good time, and I'll tell you, nothing gets the heart pumping quite like a free fall.
I would never. Not my fucking thing. Not at all.
I love all that shit. Like, I've never done bungee jumping, but I love cliff jumping. I used to do that all the time, and skydiving was super cool. I do that again. I love that shit.
Oh no,
that's not it. Like bungee jumping, all that stuff. I thought I would get that done when I was like 20. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go bungee jumping, skydiving. Never did it. Pretty like scared about just the whole thing. But then you have kids, and it's just like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna not put myself in any harm's way for this stuff.
Is that what it was for you, Chalmers? Like when you had kids, you just kind of mellowed out?
Yeah, like yeah, absolutely. I straight up didn't want to do anything that could put your life in like danger. It's funny because the feeling that you get when you drive out of the hospital with a brand new baby and everybody on the road is an asshole and it's just like the worst, you know, you feel like everybody around you is just out of control and that you wish everybody, you know, your life changes at that moment. So yeah, like I was never going to go bungee jumping, skydiving, anything like that. Not even at like the mall, like not even like a small one. I don't really think it's worth putting your life in.
I could maybe do that one at Wested that is the jump into the large wave pool, but like that would absolutely be my limit. I would zip line. Zip lining seems like safer and cooler. But like a full on free fall of any sort, not a chance.
Yeah, it gets the heart pumping, I'll tell you. Speaking of babies, I got to see Wanye in the wild with Wanye Jr. the other day. It was adorable.
That is nice. They make a good team.
I've known Wanye a long time, and it was interesting to see him in dad mode,
Yeah.
I just pulled up something on Google that was the top 10 badass jobs out there.
Yeah, hit me.
I don't think some of these are all that badass. Number 10 is a butcher. Number 9 is a judge. Number 8 is a rock star, badass.
Badass.
Number 7 is a lawyer. That's pretty badass because you can pretty much get out of anything.
Yep.
Number 6 is a real wild card here. I'm not totally sure what's so badass about being an ice cream truck driver, but it was voted the 6th most badass job. Number 5,
not badass.
Spy. A spy. Number 4,
how do you go from ice cream truck driver to spy?
I don't know.
That's obnoxious.
And then we round up the top 4 with police officer, astronaut, soldier, and firefighter.
Yeah, see, I'll take those.
Agree with a few of those.
Ice cream truck driver has no part on this list. I don't understand that at all.
I don't know.
Unless it's badass that you can listen to that horrible music over and over again and not murder everyone around you. That's the only thing I can think of.
But also, like even a judge or like a lawyer, is that really badass? I feel like the really exciting parts are cool, but for the most part, isn't it like a lot of like paperwork and like grunt work?
Well, I'm not smart enough to get either of those positions.
I think what would be considered so badass about it is if you're a judge, you could pretty much go anywhere and you know all the rules of life. You know what I mean? Like you just get pulled over by a cop, then you know your rights, your rules. You walk into I don't know.
You could like reference section 16A1B of the code of something, and you're just like, nah. Yeah, I get it.
Like I saw an Instagram video of a guy get pulled over, and he gets out and he goes, "Have you run the plate yet?" And the cop's like, "Just get in your vehicle, sir. I'll be right with you." And he goes, "Run the plate." And then he gets in his car. The guy goes into the car, runs his plate, goes back up to the window and is like, "Have a good day, Judge." And he goes, "Yeah, I will." And then just drives away.
See, that's badass. Fuck yeah.
That is pretty badass. So we mentioned no Wanye and no Jay. And that reminded me that we said the next time Wanye's not on a podcast, we would play the future Wanye voicemails we got. So
how many we got now?
I think we have 3 future Wanyes to play.
Yeah, we need to listen to these.
Okay. So this.
By the way, people can still leave us messages, right?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, Jay's gonna hop in now. This actually might be nice timing. I'm gonna put Jay in the call. We got 3 of them. I'm gonna make sure I'm playing the right one here. You can still leave us a voicemail. I just changed. I usually had it in the bio of our Instagram and our Twitter, but I changed it right now to our Nation Disc Golf video, which you can still go watch. Jay is here outside at an Oodle Noodle.
Live on location at Tooele Group Oodle Noodle.
Yeah.
Just business or pleasure?
Today's a busy day for me. I've got an investment banker in town from Toronto, and we're giving them the royal tour of Oodle Noodle. So I'm being respectful of his time because he flew all the way on a plane here this morning to come spend literally like 18 hours with us. So I had to kind of put the podcast on the side, but I wanted to check in. How are we doing?
Well,
what's going on?
Then while you're here, Jay, I need to ask you, what is a badass job that you would like to do? Chalmers and I both saw a fighter jet cruising around the West. Well, Chalmers saw it. I heard it cruising around the West End.
Oh man, fighter jet would be sick. I'm an av geek, so I love planes. So yeah, flying any kind of military plane or even a Hercules. As a kid, I was really obsessed with those. I think they're what C120, C150s. C-130s, I can't remember what they're called, but they're the Hercules 4 prop planes. I fucking loved those. Another badass job would probably be like an F1 driver.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, that should definitely take ice cream truck driver in the top 10 badass jobs list on Google. Because a race car driver of any kind would be fucking killer.
Now,
Absolutely.
okay. Retirement Tommy Bahama mode, Jay, would definitely love being an ice cream truck driver because you're just driving around spreading delicious joy.
That is
Good
true.
Good retirement gig.
Unless you're getting high on your own supply, as it were.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm wearing Tommy Bahama, because that thing's got some give, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
The best retirement gig out there is definitely like golf course marshal or like golf course starter, where you just hang out there and chit chat with people at the golf course all day. That'd be a great retirement job.
You need to have dialed in one-liners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right, because you can go around and be the course jester. Like you can really set the vibe of a course if you're a really good course marshal. But your one-liner game needs to be tight.
I think it'd be awesome. I would love it. That'd be great. You go there, you work like, I don't even know how long their shifts are, but in my fantasy scenario of this, you work like 4 hours and then you get like free golf at the course. And that's just like your day-to-day life. Oh, what a dream. What a dream.
Yeah, the free membership would be nice. Definitely help on the cash flow of retirement.
Absolutely.
They don't give
mind the
enough away.
expenses.
JR, if you would have put in the chat before you hopped on, I'm just with an investment banker that flew here and we're giving him the royal treatment of all the oodle noodles. I would have expected a Jay in maybe an Indochino suit or something to pop on, but you are looking like you're wearing your best gray hoodie. I'd like you to explain the attire for what seems to be such an important day's event.
Buddy, this is my brand. This is who I am. I don't dress up and pretend to be something I'm not.
That's true. I've gone to meetings with Jay before, and he's always rocking the hoodie and the hat.
I've been in some like real intense meetings with high up people, and I don't give a fuck. You either like me or you don't.
I think it sets the tone.
Do you want to talk clothes or do you want to talk noodles?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? Did the food taste delicious? Was the service not great? You don't need to fucking care if I'm in a hoodie.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it.
Respect.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
Sorry. I heard about disc golf. I wanna.
Okay.
I know you're talking about the video. I think we've landed on what we want to do on the Oilers Nation hole for the golf tournament, and that is hold a disc golf long drive contest.
Okay.
So on the Oilers Nation hole, which I think might be 18, I can't remember which hole it's going to be at the
18, I think.
We are going to have a long drive contest. We'll put up some prizing for that, and we'll see. It'll be funny to see because we'll get to enter, and hopefully we put out a long drive. See how we can compare to the others. If we're just average Joe, if we're way below the mean, or if we're superstars. But I feel like I'm going to be like the biggest bunt on the day for sure. But
I imagine there's just going to be a ringer there who like plays disc golf all the time and really knows how to start the chainsaw and just embarrasses everybody.
Well, yeah. Josh Park's going to be there, so we'll get him to give a route. We should probably update the world on Josh Park here at some point, but maybe we'll do after the golf tournament, unless you guys already have.
No, we haven't. We'll get to that after the golf tournament. The one thing I will say, so hole 18 at Cougar Creek, is that not the one with all that water on the right side?
Oh yeah, so it's the par 4 that you can reach in one. We're also going to host the closest to the pin on that hole.
I just want to say this long disc golf long drive thing. This is going to end up with a lot of discs in the water.
Well, that's the thing. You go way left. Like if you throw way left, like where you're actually supposed to hit, I think the water should come out of play. Or maybe we'll do it somewhere on the hole, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Who's the poor guy who has to go retrieve the disc every throw?
Who we got mine in the nation hole? But Nation Dan there, Zach Lang.
Yeah, that might be the Waz and Dan. Like we want to, we want to put our best people on that hole in terms of like providing a good vibe, good service. Unfortunately, but they might have a cart to maybe do the back and forth. We'll see. Or maybe
the boys are going to get their steps in.
Well, hey,
yeah,
nothing wrong with getting the steps in.
We just need to get like at least 4 discs, 4 driver discs at least, so that everybody
8.
can throw it, and then they don't have to be going back and forth.
Yeah, we'll probably do 8, and that way we can maybe 10, because maybe we can accompany for a couple of LDs, if you will, lost discs, and then maybe handle like 2 groups at a time, and then that way you only have to go out for every other group to pick up discs.
Okay,
or something. We'll figure it out.
It's a lifestyle.
We are 7 days away exactly on the nose from the Oilers Nation Open, which means we are 5 days away from Frank Saravalli showing up in the city, which is going to be fun.
Yeah,
And then
Frank's coming in on Tuesday.
That auction to play with Frank and Gregor is happening on the Jason Gregor show on Monday. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tune in. Chance to play with Frank and Gregor. And yeah, should be a good day. They're very pumped. Frank's a decent golfer, just got a hole in one. Gregor's got a Hartford Whalers bag. That's cool.
If you win that auction, it is guaranteed you will have a ton of fun, but you will not have as much fun as Fanny Pack Freddie will playing with us. He won our auction.
Fanny Pack Freddie is in trouble. In trouble in a good way. So Fanny Pack Freddie, if you are listening, come join us at the Pint before, because that's where the real driving range is. And then hop on the bus and we'll go to the golf course and have some fun.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to drive home, Fanny Pack. You might want to figure out how you're getting home afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, Uber. Okay, boys, I got to jump out. So have a good show.
Bye. My goal for the Oilers Nation Open is to pace myself at a responsible level. I just want to.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck.
Really take it easy. Bring lots of water.
There's beer. There's water in beer, I think.
That's everybody's plan. That's like every Monday I plan to get back in shape. Every fucking time we go and do one of these things, I'm like, water every drink. We're going to, just really pace it. Next thing I know, I'm not eating dinner or breakfast because I'm feeling good and I don't want to wreck it. So then I just breeze through lunch as well. Next thing you know, it's 14 Ryan Cokes later and I'm slobbering down dinner just because I haven't eaten all damn day.
Yeah, that's that every year at the Oilers Nation Open golf tournament. I always say I'm going to take it easy, and then I'm 2 a.m. drunk by fucking 1 in the afternoon.
I know.
Happens.
All right. Do we want to give her here on future Wanye?
Got to hear it, or else we're never going to hear it.
Just so everybody remembers, I believe this is actually Wanye. So let's
do you really like
cadence this.
Do you really? This not shtick?
I don't know. People can listen to it. It sounds so much like Wanye. Whoever sent these in did such a bang up impression. Okay, so we'll all be quiet here and I will play. Here's part 1 of future Wanye. It's loading. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's future Wanye. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said 4-time disc golf champion future Wanye. Didn't see that coming, did you? Yes, I'm from the future. It is Wanye, and I'm just calling to tell you that if you get this message, don't eat the scones. Just trust me on this. I know they're delicious. I know that you're going to... I'm talking to you, Chalmers, because I see you. Oh, look at me. I'm Chris Chalmers. I got my Slurpee in one hand. I got my scone in the other, and I don't give it. Goddamn, you can't tell me what to do, future Wanye. Well, I'm telling you, if you do it, you might just unravel time and doom the universe. So, whatever you do today, don't eat the scones. And if on the off chance I've called the wrong timeline, then fine, the scones probably okay. But just to be safe, don't eat the scones. Future Wanye. I'll see you guys soon. I hope, unless we all die.
This guy
fucking mannerisms.
Jay Farrow or Frank Caliendo or whoever this guy is, because he has fucking nailed it. Like even the way he says my name and then says, "Oh, I'm Chris Chalmers." That's exactly how he talks.
Okay.
The pace of it is there. The mannerisms are there. The little breaks in it's all there.
The jokes are there. Like they're the same type. This guy's fucking nailed it. If this isn't him, then this guy is one of the premier impressionists of our time.
It really is impressive.
I want to go back to
really
I want to go back to this part here. This is the one part where it sounds so much like Wanye. It's spooky. I'm going to fast forward.
Hey guys, it's future Wanye. I'm sorry.
1 sec. I clicked the wrong button.
Okay. Was that the part?
Okay, here we go. This is the part coming up here.
One hand, I got my scone in the other, and I don't give it. Goddamn, you can't tell me what to do, future Wanye.
The I don't give a goddamn is so much like Wanye. Like, Yep. Anyways, if you missed the original story on this, someone's leaving us voicemails on our voicemail pretending to be future Wanye. So part 1, don't eat the scones, and Wanye is a disc golf champion.
Hey, but and further to the conspiracy theory, Wanye will not let us play these when he's on the podcast. Because I think he knows his one thing ever since he started this, and I sat in on the very first episode this was ever made with Strudwick and Gregor and Wanye. And from the very first episode, his one thing was, I don't want to hear my own voice. It will freak me out. And he, if anything else, is a man of his word in that way. And he does not listen. Like, to the point where I even think that it pisses him off that he has to hear the intro where he talks, right? So he's never they're never in the same room at the same time, right? Wanye and this Wanye, because he knows that I'll have hard questions for him. And so he will not let us play it. So that's further to the story of future Wanye just started leaving us voicemail.
It does seem
Actual
suspect.
Wanye, it's so suspect. You kidding me?
Super suspect.
This case is closed and, or wait, is it open?
Signed,
and
sealed,
shut?
delivered.
Open and shut.
All of it.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Do we want
Bang
part
the
two?
gavel. Of course I want part 2.
Gift wrapped. Bow on top.
Part 2, future Wanye.
Hey guys, future Wanye again. I've got a bad connection to this timeline, so bear with me through it all. Anyway, I understand you didn't play my last message, and that's okay. Because if that's the case, then this is the timeline where we re-sign Nuge, and that's good news because with the extra money we save, and with him, we're able to Stanley Cups in years. So you're doing right, doing great, everything's okay. One more word of warning, though, especially to you, Yaremchuk. If a guy named Bryce tries to sell you Dogecoin, don't fall for it. He's just a guy with a chainmail dice bag like some D&D geek, and he's got a bunch of Chuck E. Cheese tokens. He's spray painted in his garage. They're not real Dogecoins, so don't fall for it. So anyway, casting from the year, Wanye. Talk to you soon.
So on that one, when it keeps cutting out, that's not my internet being bad. That's like a nice creative touch. So that's fucking hilarious. Also, he sent that in on over a month ago. I think that was before Nuge signed. Anyways, so that was kind of weird.
Are you meaning to tell me that even in the future we got bad cell service? This is fucking disappointing.
Yeah, come on, Elon Musk, figure it out.
And it's so on brand for him to do something, a joke revolving around cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Elon
what he's.
Musk.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he's got for round 3.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Round 3 of future Wanye.
Oh, hey guys, it's future Wanye. Like,
That's actually a good impression too, though.
It's the pace of it is exact.
maybe it's not that hard to do. Hey guys, future Wanye here. Someone from the future, and telling you. Okay, you know what?
Part 3.
I think we need to, like, since Wanye isn't actually on this podcast, we need to get future Wanye in touch with Chalmers somehow to, like, get old stories of Wanye to really fucking freak him out one time. Just like shit that he'd be like, how does he know this?
That would be funny.
It'd be hilarious.
Okay. Part 3.
Hey fellas, it's future Wanye, but I have a bit of a confession to make. I'm not really future Wanye at all. It's actually Duncan Keith. I am still calling from the future, but I know it's a bit of subterfuge. I was trying to sort of ingratiate myself to you folks, so when the trade happened, that you'd sort of be amenable to that. But obviously, you know, the cat's out of the bag at this point. I will tell you that things didn't go exactly the way we planned. Initially, the deal was going to be myself for Neil, 1-for-1. And then there was an agreement with the Kraken to take, I believe, Mikko Koskinen. And, well, obviously, I'm not sure whether it was a Stan Goldman mistake or whether Kenny managed to change the parameters of the deal. But anyway, sorry. Great news is that I will be in Edmonton, and I can't tell you everything that's going to happen, obviously, because some things have gone wrong already, but I am excited that I'll be there to see the Cassian trade and see how you guys react to all that. So sorry about the misdirection there, but hopefully have a few good years here in Edmonton and bring you guys some success, things to cheer about. So anyway, Duncan Keith from the future, signing off.
So future Wanye is actually future Duncan Keith.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is one of the greatest impressionists of all time, because that is definitely not Wanye. Because when he goes into that, I know Wanye has zero impressional ability or any way to like change his voice to sound like somebody different. And when he actually changes to Duncan Keith, I don't think future Wanye is capable of that, or actual Wanye, sorry. So I was wrong. That man is very, very good at doing Wanye.
Also, though, like this person didn't leave like an email or whatever along with it. They're an unnamed voicemail leaver. So like literally all we know, like for some of them, there's like a reply button where I can reply to the person who sent it in. There's not one for that. So this person clearly wants to remain anonymous. So we'll never know.
Could be anybody.
Well, listen,
really
Could be anybody.
future Duncan Keith / future Wanye, keep sending those because they are golden. And he's probably getting discouraged because we wouldn't play them. But that was only because Wanye wasn't here.
Yep.
So just keep doing it, and we'll keep playing him when he's not here.
That's
which
ridiculous.
is happening more and more often.
That is
they were
ridiculous.
They were good. I like the voicemail idea, but again, everyone always gives us shit for starting segments and stopping them. We've actually, like the listener profile one, we ran that one for like a solid 8 months. That was
But
a
how
good
many
segment.
voicemails do we got? We got a bunch banked and we just haven't played them?
No, actually, we've played most of them. I got 2 more here. One of them is from Chandler, but I think that one is for, I think that one might be for Oilers Nation Radio. So I think we got to play some on ONR.
So we had this little talk and you're talking about segments. Now, some people like segments are good for the people doing the podcast because what it does is it gives you structure, number one, but it also, you don't have to be as creative in thinking up things on the fly. Like we do literally no show prep. And it probably sometimes comes across, and I know that some people like the fact that we don't, the fact that we just bullshit. We talk about anything. I could bring up fucking anything right now, and we would just talk about it, right? But just to have like a couple, when we were talking earlier, you were like, well, I've tried to bring 100 back and you know, ask the listener or listener profile or voicemails. The fact is like, who has to be the caretaker of this? Somebody has to keep everybody responsible. I put that on you, Remchuk.
Okay, but here's no, fuck that. I'm going off on this because I get told all these ways that we need to like make the podcast better. And it's like, get guests. Then I get us a guest and like no one shows up to do the interview with me, or it's like half the cast. So it's like, hey, I'm not going to get guests. And then I'm told, no, less guests. We need more banter with everyone. So we do more banter. And then we get this complaint where it's like, oh, the shows are just nonsense. Like we need structure. So then I start coming up with 5 topics for every show. And then listeners start going, holy shit, Uremchuk, shut up. This isn't what real life is about. We don't want that. So then I stop doing that. And then people are like, how come there's no more segments? How come there's no more structure? What's going on? And it's like, man, whatever I'm told to do, I do my best to do. But like the segments, yeah, keep it at 100. That'd be great if we did that like every Thursday. The problem is when I sit here and go, all right, keep it at 100. Who's got one? And that's the sound we get is just dead silence, or Wanye going, I don't know, I'm not doing that. So what do you want? Chalmers, you do a segment. What do you want? What do you want to do?
I don't know, because here's the thing with podcasts, and the fact that I think it's the gift and the curse to listening to a lot of podcasts, which I do. Number one, I don't think there's any original segment idea. There isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's tough to come up with something new. So no matter what, you're kind of biting from somebody else. And they've, you know, in the radio and podcasting, you know, solar system, it's kind of known that if you want to do less work as somebody on these, you number one, take calls, or you number two, have segments, right? Because it's easier. Yeah. It's easier to do. So I don't know. I'm kind of on I couldn't even think, like, I loved keeping it 100 where we all just bitch about something that's happened in our real life. I thought that was quite original. And it was fun to do, but like, yeah, nobody can. I liked my awkward encounter of the week. I was having a couple of those. I still have them, but that really never took off all that much. I had an awkward encounter today at the bank where I heard a lady say, so I'm in line at the bank and there's a lady up in front, and I could tell that there's nobody at her window. The person that's dealing with her has gone to get the manager. They're talking in the back, and this lady, you can tell, is turning, and you can tell somebody's pulled her ripcord a little bit. And so when she comes back, she says, we can't take third-party checks. Now, what I imagine that is somebody has written a check to somebody else, signed it over to them, and now they're trying to cash it, a third-party check, right? And this lady's like, the manager's just like, we haven't accepted third-party checks for like 2 years. And this lady goes, that's bullshit. I was a bank manager. She goes, oh, and she starts yelling. She starts calling her sweetie. And like, this is now the point where in regular society, it's become a thing where you switch on your video and you start taking a vid, because this lady went off saying, you will then just give me back that check right now and the millions that go with it. Let me talk to your district manager. Like, she threw out almost everything. This lady was going off, and it was awkward for everybody, right? So I have those kind of things still. Those were a fun segment. There's still the one where the girl pays for my meal at Tim Hortons. That was a long, long time ago, but
I don't think I ever heard that one.
Segment. So long story short, I go into, we're walking into Tim Hortons, me and this girl, and I open the door for her, and she goes in front of me in the line, right? As what happens in a store like that, you open the door for somebody, you're both walking to the till. Clearly I was there first, but now she's in line ahead of me. And so no big deal. But she turns to me as she's ordering and she goes, I'd like to pay for your stuff because that was so nice that you opened the door for me. And I'm like, oh no, it's okay. Because I have this gift card that I got from being a hockey coach. I know what I'm getting. My order is like probably around $9 to $10, and I don't want her to pay for all that. So I say to her, because my morning routine at this point was like a wrap, a drink, and a like apple fritter or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't want her to have to pay for all that. So I just say, she won't let this go either. I've declined like 3 times. Finally, I'm like, I was just going to get a bacon breakfast wrap. And she's like, okay. She orders it for me. We now are standing awkwardly at the counter where, and I obviously don't order anything else because that would just be weird. So we're standing awkwardly at the counter where they are, where we're both waiting for our food, and I'm trying to make small talk. But I'm watching the people put together the food, and she's not. And they put my wrap in her bag, hand her her bag. And so she goes, okay, thank you, and starts to walk out the door. And I'm like, okay, my wrap's in that bag. Like, what do? Do I stop her and say like, hey, so that wrap you bought me, like, it's in your bag. Can I have that? Right? Or do I just fucking let her walk out and be like, okay, now I got to get back in line behind the other 4 people that are back there and just do this all over again, right? So she, funny enough, notices it popping out the bag, and she goes, oh, I think this is yours. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great, thanks, awesome. So we walk out together. I get in my truck. She gets in her car. Now, my plan is to go through the drive-through because I still need the drink and I still need the apple fritter. And so I'm like, I'll just go through the drive-through. So I'm sitting there waiting, pretending I'm like on my phone, and she's not pulling out. And I'm just like, what? How long do I have to sit here because she's not pulling out? Finally, she pulls out, and I watch her kind of drive away, and then I drive out and I get into the drive-through. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh man, this is so awkward. I'm like, okay, whatever, no big deal. But the way she went around the building was she came back right next to the drive-through, and I look over and she looks right at me in the drive-through. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking awkward.
Did you hold eye contact, or were you just trying to avoid?
She looked, I looked over at her as she was looking at me. We held eye contact, and then she just kept driving. And I just looked forward and was like, I didn't ask for any of this. What the hell is happening right now?
Yeah, you're just being courteous, and now you got a situation.
I opened the door for somebody, and it just was a fucking. And this kind of went into like the at Tim Hortons, the person. If you start the I'm paying for the guy behind me thing, shame on fucking you. Well, nobody else likes it. No, there is no good reason to do that. Because then inevitably, you get up to the window for your $5 stuff, and they're like, oh, the person in front of you paid. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll pay it back. I'll get the people behind you. Look in behind you, and it's a work truck with 4 guys all getting breakfast and coffees. And you're like, so that breakfast just cost me $20. Like,
that's fair, I guess.
Somebody gets burnt in it. One person gets off, one person gets to feel good, and everybody else gets fucked.
I got caught with that one time because I was exactly what you were talking about, Chalmers. Somebody bought, I went to Tim Hortons and I got a coffee. So we're talking $1.50 kind of thing here. And then person in front of you bought the coffee. I'm like, okay, I'll buy the person in front of me. And I'm not really paying attention. Turns out $48 fucking company order for one of the buildings. I'm like, okay, so now I just bought a $48 coffee.
Can't you just say no? Like, can't you say like, what's the order?
Yeah. Well, like in hindsight, that's the exact, but I was just like, I was flustered. I was rattled because I was there. I was at the window. I already agreed to pay. And then they give me the thing and I tap and it was $48. It was a nightmare.
The last time.
That's hard.
The last time I had that happen to me, it was actually on my birthday. I was like, all right, it's my birthday. I had to go to work, go into the radio station. So I pulled into Tim Hortons to buy myself breakfast. And the guy in front of me bought my whole breakfast for me. And I just accepted it as a good deed. I didn't pay it backwards. I just ended the train. I was like, wow, you know what? It's my birthday. Someone did something nice. Like, I'm just going to cash in on this. I don't think that's shitty of me to do. I agree with you. If someone in front of you is being nice, you know what? I might pay it forward in another way, but I don't feel any obligation or pressure to pay for what's behind me.
Hit us up, Nation Real Life on Twitter and Instagram. I want to know if you are always, if somebody pays for your shit in a drive-thru, are you always paying it forward? I want to know. I need to know. And I also want to know, what is your limit? Like if it gets to $10 and you're like, okay, but if we're at 15, you're like, no, fuck that person, you know?
There is only one thing worse than being in a till and having to say no to like, okay, I'm just going to accept that. And the person at Tim Hortons is judging you. It's when you go to pay for something and they're like, would you like to donate $5 to like save children? And you're like, no, I don't. Because if I do it every single time, it's like $20 a month. Not a big deal. But hey, we have in my family a charity budget for the year, and we put it towards things that really mean something to us. And most of the time, it's to help the kids that are friends of mine's kids that have to do like a fundraising thing, or like the Stollery, which is near and dear to our hearts. Stuff like that, right? And so I'm sorry, but it's just not in the budget to do like an extra 20. It's not even the budget. It's more the principle. When you do that, I remember walking down the mall once, and this person is like, you don't want to stop at those kiosks, but their line when you said your immediate no, because you're already built in that you're going to say no when this person approaches you, right?
Yeah. Would you like to save some children's lives? And I was just like, no. And I walked by and I'm like, wow. That fucking was great. Like, I just had the no built in already, and you asked me the one question that you really should never say no to.
Well, at least you just said no, fuck those kids. And just keep moving on, Yeah.
Like, where are these kids exactly? Like, how old are they?
Yeah. Do I get a tax receipt from this or no?
I remember during the Oilers playoff run in 2017, working for the radio station outside of a brew house, we had set up like a big van that was painted San Jose Sharks colors. People could come smash. So outside the brew house, there was this guy and his two like younger kids or whatever walking by. And the kids were like, oh, Dad, can we do it? Can we do it? And so the guy comes over. He's like, how much? I'm like, oh, it's like one whack for $10 or 3 whacks for 20. And he was like, okay, 3 whacks for 20. Fine, kids, you can do it. He's like, wait, do I get a tax receipt for this? Because it was $20 to charity. And I was like, oh, no, like, I don't think we do that. Like, I was like, whatever, 18, 19. I didn't know what the fuck to say. I was like, no, I don't think I can do that. Sorry. And he goes, well, sorry, kids, I ain't doing it. And he fucking dipped because he didn't get the tax receipt for his $20 donation to let his kids swing a hammer at a car.
Listen, when those people ask, that $20 costs that sumbitch like 30 to do it. That's 30 earned dollars. $5 is a till without a tax receipt. I had to earn 7 to pay that 5. It ain't just 5.
Yep. How much of your time is that?
Okay, wait, what?
There's opportunity cost here.
That's before tax money he's paying right there, right?
Yep.
So in order for him to make that $20 as after tax money, he had to make like $32.
Yep.
I don't follow the logic here at all.
Because he's given.
If you make $1 and you get taxed 30%, that means you get to keep 70 cents of it.
Yeah.
So in order to make $1 after tax money, you have to make $1.30.
Chalmers, the bottom line is his two kids wanted to swing a hammer on their way to an Oilers game, and he wouldn't throw out the $20 bill because I wouldn't give him the tax receipt. I get it. I get writing things off and running a good business. I just felt like that one instance was kind of weird.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done it. All I'm saying is if every single time I go to the till and they ask me to donate $5 to something, that shit's going to add up, and I don't want to do it.
It also adds up buying a Slurpee every day, bro. That Slurpee actually costs you $2.70 of before whatever the fuck math you're doing. Like, you could say that about anything.
Yeah, but I have a Slurpee budget, and I'm not buying Slurpees for everybody in the damn place, or that would take away from my damn Slurpee budget, wouldn't it?
You should always keep room in your budget for the fantastic products courtesy of our friends at twigandberries.ca.
Absolutely.
Go to their website, twigandberries.ca. Everything is in normal prices, not converted into like after tax earnings dollars or whatever we're doing here. If your order is over $75, it's free shipping within Canada. Promo code Nation15, 15% off. Great stuff to wear on.
$90 to afford that.
Yeah, shut up. Enough. No more. Yeah, they got some great stuff there. Love our friends at Twig and Berries.
They're excellent. I'm wearing my nutsacks right now, Tyler. I just thought you might like to enjoy that.
Not to mention the extra 5% the government puts on it. You know what I mean, boys?
Yeah, come on.
Hey, did you hear this dude that's running for prime minister?
Yeah, no GST December.
GST free, just right when everybody's got to buy Christmas presents. I was like, you know what? That's hilarious because a lot of people will be like, that sounds great. I'm for that shit. Yeah. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, he's gonna save you.
I think it's very funny.
Even if you were to spend $1,000, if you were to spend $1,000 around Christmas, that's what, $50 you're saving yourself. I guess. I mean, if you're making your political decisions based on who might save you between $50 and $150, depending on how much you spend during Christmas.
My friend.
Yeah.
You do not have kids yet, and $1,000 is not even close to what you spend on Christmas. When you have nieces, nephews, kids of your own, a wife, your grandparents, or your parents, $1,000.
Sounds like you need to.
Guy spends on Christmas.
Sounds like you need to redo how gifts work in your family.
No,
that's what we did. We did for that exact reason. We do gift exchange or pull names now.
Yep, that's what my family does too.
It just turned ridiculous because it's like you buy the nieces, then the nephews, then
we do that. We do that for the adults, but for the kids up until the age of 16 or 18, we buy a gift for every niece and nephew.
Well, that's nice of you.
That's nice. Yeah. I mean, and they're young kids. I'm sure they love it. But yeah, my family put like a cap on that shit. I know some people who just stopped with it. Like their families were like, no more gifts. We'll have our meal together. The young kids get a gift, but like no more of this giving gifts to the adults thing because we're all adults and we can buy our own shit kind of.
That's why I love Thanksgiving. It's all the good food and booze without any of the buying gifts all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I do really like the gift exchange where you can steal the person, like somebody in front of you's gift.
Yeah, we do that at the Nation Christmas party every year.
Oh, is that a good time? Somebody inevitably always leaves hurt though.
Like, always.
They got the one thing they wanted. Oh, it was in like Big Brother. Remember when Sarah Beth and Big Brother got the 5G and she's basically crying, and now Derek's got to wear a fucking leotard all week. Yep. He didn't take the $5,000 for her because she cried and begged him not to because she's having such a tough time right now.
I find it amazing on Big Brother that just like how many people are personally offended when they get either nominated or asked to be a pawn or whatever. Like, and all these people are super fans of the show. That fucking annoys me. It's just like, why are you so sad as if this was not a possibility that you could get put on the block in this game? I don't get it. It annoys me.
The thing that's driving me nuts this season with this Cookout Alliance is that all of them are in their own games and talking in the diary room, talking to the other people they're close with outside of this alliance, being like, oh yeah, like, you know, I need to do what's best for my game, blah, blah, blah. Then someone else in their alliance does something that's good for their game. And they're like, does the Cookout mean nothing? Like Azza during that last HOH, that Kyland one, when she was like, why didn't you throw it to me? Like it's embarrassing, man. Like he's playing his own game. He's being so selfish. And it's like, Azza, win the comp, get the question right, and it won't be a problem. Or Tiffany when she's mad. And I'm like, he tried to throw it to you.
Yeah, he just sat there. Like, how long was he supposed to wait? And then she picked the wrong answer anyway.
I was so mad. I was like, this is like entitlement. I'm not going to be somebody who sits on my porch and yells, get off my lawn. But there's a lot of entitlement in like the younger generation, which is fine. I had a lot of entitlement. I think it gets worse with every generation that comes, but it was so evident when she was so mad that he wasn't going to throw it to her. It's like, what makes you think that he, number one, owes it to you to throw it? He's in your alliance. This is good for you, but you can't see 5 feet in front of your own face that you're going to get this mad. And like, if I was, and then he was almost like forced to try to throw it to Tina, but she just screwed up, you know? And you're like, oh my God, these people.
He was just sitting there waiting. Like, are you going to push a button or what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't get
Embarrassing.
it. It is.
Win a fucking competition. Win it if you want it. Win it.
Yep.
It's like back it was earlier in the season, but when I think it was Xavier was like going to put Brittany on the block, and Azza like freaked out about it and was like, I know it's a game, but don't you care about her? Like, she's going to be so upset, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how do you sign up for Big Brother? And like the first time you're on the block, like you're melting down and like freaking out about how like hard and everyone's ganging up on you and you don't give a shit. And it's like, I get like maybe being in there is just such a mental fuck that like you lose like the perception of that. But like, I don't know, like even Christian was like pissed off when he got put up, but he wasn't like freaking out and like crying and being like, oh, Derek X is such a piece of shit. Blah, blah. He did a little bit of that, but for the most part, he was like, oh shit, it's a game.
Big move. Getting Christian out.
And I love that Derek X made that move, then was not a target this week. Like no one even whispered about him, at least from what I've seen. I'm not fully caught up. I think I'm one episode behind.
I'm not fully caught up yet either.
No, he got, you know what? He got me when they were doing that, and it was like, what is he going to put her on the block? And they had the first ever cliffhanger where they didn't actually do the veto, perform the veto. That was crazy, right? So then the next episode, I remember watching at the very beginning, and my wife and I were just about to start it, and we were like, if he doesn't do this, he's dead. He is dead next week because already X is going after him. Alyssa's going after him. Anyways, he had to pull it off. He did, and seemingly came out completely unscathed. So
he's in a great spot.
Like, great move.
Perfectly
I got
executed.
One thing. I'd like to put forward a challenge over the weekend because I'm going to do it this weekend. And I really want to talk about it because it's sports. We were all alive for this event. And apparently this documentary is fantastic, but on Netflix, it was just released. It's called Malice at the Palace.
Yeah, it's in my queue.
So it's obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, it's about when, the Ron Artest and the Indiana Pacers basically fought Detroit Pistons fans. And what led up to it, it shows the characteristics around it. One thing that I'll spoil because I've heard an interview, and this is not going to spoil anything, but Ron Artest, who basically was the fuse that was lit to start this whole fire, he traveled around with a psychologist. He knew he had like issues that he needed to work through, and he wasn't, mature enough to work through them himself. So he had a traveling psychologist, and they were working on a technique where when he gets put in a position where he could explode, that he just finds a center and does a 5 count and brings himself back to reality. Right.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, it said that when he's laying on that scores table, which looked like he's freaking out, he goes and lays on the scores table, puts his hands on his head. He was going through his 5 count progression to get himself back. And if he would have, it probably would have just diffused itself and gone away. But then the most perfect of all perfect drink tosses lands right on his chest. And before he can get to 5, the dynamite explodes. And next thing you know, you've got fucking dudes in Detroit Pistons jerseys squaring up with Jeremy Stevenson. And it's like, one of the pivotal points in like the NBA in the past 20 years. So anyway, we all need to watch it so we can
talk about it.
Dude, I think it's just one.
It's just the one doc.
Oh, I'll crush that.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Brad Stepanko actually sent me that one sent it to us on our real life Instagram. So I'm definitely going to crush that out.
Absolutely. 100%.
So yes, it's called Untold, Malice at the Palace. And it goes into everything. It goes into the fact that stadium security and police didn't show up for a long time. It shows, it talks about, okay, how many videos is there? There's trailer. Let's see. No, I think there's just one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I can't find how long. Yeah, it's a film. It's a Netflix film.
I'll crush that.
but yeah, 2004. And it just goes into like the fact that I think his name is Jeremy Stevenson, was one of the players. And this dude was like, before this fight, he had taken some, kids, some girls that couldn't get dates to prom, or somebody who asked him. He was like a golden child type of thing, right? Like really great perception of him. And immediately after this fight, because you can see him squaring up with a fucking fan, he turned into a thug in like the media's minds, and they portrayed him as such. And it kind of ruined him. Like it kind of like he was in and out of court for I think the next 10 years. So this is a story told from their perspective, the people that were involved in this. It's going to be super interesting. I think we'll all love it. It has a sports tie-in, and I would love to talk about it on Monday.
I'd like that, because I don't really know much about it beyond, I've seen the highlights, of course, but like that, I don't really know much about it beyond that.
Well, there's all this whole thing about how the NBA was like, as much as I don't like getting into like race talk, I mean, at that time, the NBA, the commissioner was going through a lot of, like trying to change people's wardrobes, the Allen Iverson effect, but really Steve Nash was the one that was dressing in all baggy clothes. And so everybody started to have to wear suits. Like what they were trying to do is sell basketball to majority white fans, right? So they tried to market it as such. And this was like just blowing the top off of it all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting. I think it's a fucking amazing story, and I can't wait to watch it.
One thing I want to, I'm totally down. One thing I want to ask you guys about what came out this week, that not this coming season, but the one after, we're going to get some ads on NHL jerseys. And I was cruising Twitter before we started, and people are mad. But you guys also love a lot of sports, and this isn't new.
No.
I say to them, to the people that didn't like this coming, people in the NBA didn't want to see this coming, go look at the size of the advertisement on their jersey. The LA Kings have a little Wish logo on it. It's literally the size of a Nike check mark on a shirt. So it doesn't make any difference. My thing is as long as the jersey, the badge isn't like this huge, gaudy, ugly thing, it should be okay. Everybody in the NBA is like, yeah, not even a problem anymore. Nobody cares about it. So I don't understand anybody getting up.
3.5 by 3 inches is the area that they can. So it's small.
It's very small. And so if I go and I buy an Oilers jersey in the store now, will it have to come with that logo?
No, it in all likelihood will not. Like you could probably go find like.
What the fuck does anybody care about this for?
That's why to me, I'm with you, Chalmers, because last year when they put the ads on helmets and people were like, oh, you can't put ads on the guys' helmets. And then as you're watching the game, you don't notice any ads on the helmets.
Yeah, like the jerseys you buy at the store will be the same. But then when I brought this up the other day on the radio, there were people being like, oh, well, that's bullshit. I want what the players wear. I want the ad on the jersey I buy. And it's like, you clearly cannot please everyone here, right?
What are we doing here, people? Jesus.
Well, it is interesting. It's interesting though, because like I have friends over in England, and obviously jersey sponsorship is huge in Premier League soccer. And it's funny that they kind of track how old your jersey is, how long you've been a fan for, based on what ad is on the front of your jersey. It is an interesting concept. But personally, I like, as long as you can buy it without, which you can, then I don't see what the problem is.
Right. So I would like, anybody that listens to this podcast, I wish everybody in the world would do this, but I've done this. I'm not necessarily somebody who likes to get up in arms about shit that really doesn't affect me all that much. Like, this isn't a NASCAR outfit. They're not putting 1,000 decals on this jersey. It's not going to take away from the legacy or the whatever you want to call it of our jersey, right? It's not going to take anything away from it, right? But my question is like, or not my question, my statement is basically like, I wish people would just wake up and kind of stop looking for so much shit to bitch about on a daily basis, especially stuff that they can't control. Like, yes, you don't have to. It doesn't help anybody. Like, unless it's something super serious. Like, I'm not talking about masks in school. Have your opinion on that. But this is a 3x3 logo on a jersey, a sports jersey. Soccer's been doing it forever. The world's game, the most prestigious, sporting like teams in the world are doing this already, right? Like,
yeah.
Why does it make such a difference?
It seemed inevitable to me.
Yeah, it did. It did to me too. Like they're ripping off the Band-Aid. They're getting it done 2022. The only thing I'll say that I want to happen with this is I want it should have to match your color scheme. So like even when I look at the helmet ads for the last year, like when the Oilers have Rogers on their helmet, I would like it. And I don't even remember if it was, which shows you how little of a detail this was. But like the Oilers Rogers logo should be blue or orange. The one that drove me nuts this year, the only one that consistently pissed me off was the Pittsburgh Penguins because they had the massive blue PPG paints square on their helmet, and blue doesn't match anything in their jerseys. Like they should have to change that to black or white to match their jerseys. And I hope they do that with the jersey ads. Like, you know, if the Oilers have Rogers, make sure it's an orange Rogers logo at least. And that should be a concession they make. You know, if I don't even know where else to go, but like the Leafs, if the Leafs go with Scotiabank, don't put a red Scotiabank logo on the Leafs jersey. Keep it white or blue. You know what I'm saying? Like it should have to match your jersey.
I do. I get what you're saying. And because if your logo, if your brand is big enough that people are aware of your logo, regardless of what color it is, take the Pepsi logo right now. Yeah. You put the Pepsi logo on the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey and it says Pepsi below it, and one of those is black and one of them is yellow. That's kind of cool, right? Like, yeah. If it matched like that, like if your brand has such good brand awareness that you can do it in any color, I say that's good. But like PPG, if they're known for like their blue logo and it doesn't stand out, I'll bet you PPG would be like, it'll change the color. The whole reason we want this blue on those jerseys is because it fucking stands out.
I was going to say you shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think that takes too much almost away from the jerseys.
I was going to say, like, if your brand like Coke's not getting away from red and white.
Yeah, could you imagine if they went white, like Rangers colors? They went blue. They went Pepsi colors because they wanted to be on the Rangers jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, but counterpoint, let's say, like, how cool would it be? And this is maybe a way to integrate it more into your brand as a team. Like if Coca-Cola sponsored the Oilers and all the bottles of Coke in Rogers had orange and blue labels or something like that, right? Like really buy into like a partnership and not just like, oh, we're slapping the PPG sticker on here and like it might look like shit.
I guess we'll see. Yeah. You know? We'll see.
I have to say, you brought that up, and I opened my newest flat of Coke Zeros from the store, and I was surprised to say the least when I opened it because the bag and the flat is still black and red writing and all that. When I opened the cans, they're now all red with black writing, so they look more like real Coke, and they say in big letters, like when a big badge on there it says "New Coke Zero." And I was like, if you change the taste of this Coke Zero, I am going to have a fucking issue with this because it's like the only pop I drink. And I like drink it religiously, right? So.
And did they?
I was a little, yeah, no, it was fucking exactly the same. And now the can is red and stuff. So like changing your brand, changing your colors, I don't think it's all that big of a deal. So I could see where orange and blue, especially because that's such a good color scheme anyways.
Yeah,
I think
beautiful.
Almost anybody, like imagine getting the Home Depot on the Oilers and it on their blue jerseys is written in orange. That's going to stand out. That's going to be awesome. That's their color. But on the orange jerseys, it's like, well, written in blue, would it stand out? Probably.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh no,
We'll
I'm curious to see like who would it be a local company or a big time company that buys this? Like who's
the Oilers?
Yeah, like
I can see it being. I can see it being like it could be like I definitely see Rogers or like PCL or something. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say PCL. That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see PCL doing it. Either
like
way,
Shaw.
it might. I think it's gonna probably cost like what
upwards
$4
of
million.
$6 million bucks.
Oh, really?
$6 million bucks, according to Greg Wyshynski at ESPN.
For the Oilers or on average around the league?
That's what they're guessing ballparking for a hockey market city about $6 million bucks.
Okay.
So do you think there'll be backlash to like some of these companies that do put the logo on from people that didn't want the logos on the jersey? It'll be like, you know, pissed off at the actual company that's putting their logo on there.
Probably.
I saw someone was tweeting there like, man, can you imagine if like Barstool bought the Bruins jersey or something? That's where you'll get backlash if you get a fucking company like that.
Well, there's also, so I read in the report, there's also guidelines and there's just no fly zone. So like some companies are just, you can't, like, we're not going to see Pornhub on anybody's on jerseys. You know what I mean?
Brazzers.
Yeah.
But now that OnlyFans is banning sexual content, OnlyFans can be on a jersey.
Hey, now's the time. The time to pivot is now. Wholesome content from OnlyFans.
So it's funny because what we're talking about is directly a factor in a conversation that I had last Thursday with JR, Jay from this podcast, obviously.
Oh, really?
He, just for anybody else who didn't know. Yeah, he grew up using King Cobra drivers when they were the very first driver that, like when Cobra put out their very first driver, he had one and he was a big hitter and it made a difference for him and he fell in love with them. And so he's always had King Cobra drivers up until they kind of stopped making really good drivers, and they're back in the market right now. And their spokesperson is none other than the least likable human being in the world, Bryson DeChambeau. And JR wants to buy a King Cobra, but can't bring himself to do it because he hates Bryson DeChambeau so much. So,
That's so funny.
That's a
it's
very
so funny.
That's you taking your beefs to your driver game.
Oh, yeah.
I
Chalmers,
respect it.
I just think, go ahead.
is there someone climbing in the bed of your truck?
No, they're strapping stuff to a trailer behind me.
Oh,
You guys
okay.
are loading their trailer and strapping it up. But
I
yes, they
love
look like
how you
they're
just-
legit.
I love how you just kind of like, yeah, guys, you keep working. I got to go do this podcast for an hour in my truck.
I
That's
don't tell
great.
them.
Yeah. You
Honestly,
just,
though,
they think you're on a work call.
Yeah. Well, because outside of my job sites, a lot of the stuff I do is coordination and like note taking, ordering. And so I'm not going to do it while I'm in the house because then they just tend to ask me a million questions and I don't really ever get it done. So a lot of the time I'm just legit sitting in the truck anyways up front,
Fair enough.
getting work done on my iPad. And so it's not really much. And they don't know that I'm on it. And I don't really feel like telling them.
Before we wrap things up, a little bit of love to our presenting sponsors at DoorDash. They present
Ding
the whole
dong.
nation network of podcasts. Ding dong. Head to DoorDash, use the promo code Real Life. Oh, fuck me. I forgot it again. What is the damn promo
Real
code?
life DD, man.
Ding
Real
dong,
Life DD.
Ding dong.
Real Life DD is the promo code. Use that at DoorDash, gets you 25% off and free delivery on your first order. Dairy Queen, Burger King, Popeyes, IHOP, Taco Bell. Those are just some of the fine restaurants you can find and have delivered right to your door with DoorDash. Also, clean up your pubes with Manscaped.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
From promo code
IHOP?
Real Life. IHOP,
I don't
yes.
know. I'd please like you to get in touch with me on social media if you've ever DoorDashed IHOP to your house because
Yeah,
We need
who's
to have a
ordering
choice.
pancakes?
we need to have a talk about your life choices.
Why?
They are.
Although
have you
last
been
week
to
I
IHOP,
said-
your M truck?
I've been door dashing Slurpees, so who am I to judge anything anybody's doing?
No. Come on. It's not about the fact that you're door dashing something that isn't normally door dashed. It's the fact that you're getting IHOP. Like, have you never been to IHOP before your M truck? It's not exactly fine dining, my friend.
You could
Not
say that about a
exactly.
lot of restaurants. Hey, if you want IHOP for breakfast after a night of drinking or something like that, all the power to you.
Yeah, get after it. Why not?
Yeah, we don't order shame on this podcast, Chalmers.
No, we don't.
Not at all. All right.
Get Muggins. Get something else. Trust me.
Muggins is great. They've got a fine breakfast.
Oh, one of the best in the city.
And if you want, your Rumchuck, if you want, after you go for a couple of spins on the old VLTs after you're done, why not?
I like that. Now you're speaking my language. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. This has been episode 308 of the Real Life Podcast. Shout out to the HGA Group, our title sponsor, DoorDash, Manscaped, and of course, Twig and Berries, where that promo code is Nation15. Hopefully, Jay and Wanye can make it for a full pod next time. But until then, enjoy your weekend, everybody, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.